This Restomod is one of the most unusual bikes I've ever built. I've never seen anything like it out on the trails, and it's even had a GMBN Supernice. This bike was built about a decade ago at time of filming because I wanted something really unusual to use as a cross-country bike. At the time I only had jump bikes, downhill bikes and a road bike as the other options, and I fancied something to ride a little bit more cross-country with. I started off with a 1994 Specialized Rock Hopper. Now that bike doesn't have disc brakes as standard, so I sent it away to Kiwi Bikes in Rotorua and got Jeff at Kiwi Bikes to remove the brake mounts and braze me on some lovely disc mounts. These are really nicely done, super tidy job, and they've worked pretty well for the last 10 years. Since we're talking about brakes, I've chucked on some Hayes 9s as the brakes. These particular Hayes 9s were the lightweight ones with the carbon lever. And while we're on carbon, I chucked on some carbon Crank Brothers iodine bars, held on with a Hope stem and running a Hope headset. The grips were PT ones. They're kind of a bit worse for wear nowadays. Next thing I added on this bike was a set of RockShox SID forks. I never plumbed in the lockout because there was no need to lock the forks out on any of the trails I was riding. And I didn't care that much. The wheels on the bike are Hope Pro 2s laced onto Spank Tweet rims. I mainly got these because I really wanted the metallic anodized look on the rim. I do rather like it, I think it's pretty cool. And it goes really well with the blue Panaracer Fires. The blue Panaracer Fires were there because I liked them in the 90s, and I never really had a set of Panaracer Fires. Most of my friends used to ride them and I rode different stuff. So chucked on some Panaracer Fire XC Pros, 26 by 2.1. Before I move on to the drivetrain, I also used an STG I-beam saddle. These were really light compared to everything else I could get my hands on at the time, and I just chucked them on. They weren't the most comfortable saddles I've ever ridden in my life, but they were kind of light and cool. I also bought 2 separate seat clamp bolts so that I could have a blue on one side and red on the other. Now where was I? That's right, drivetrain. The drivetrain on this bike is something a little bit unusual for a mountain bike. It's a mixture of XT, Dura-Ace, Raceface and KMC. We've got a Dura-Ace 9-speed rear mech, a KMC chain, Raceface Ride XC cranks with an external bottom bracket. I wanted an external bottom bracket because the external bottom bracket kind of looks unlike what would have been on this bike to start with. And anything that makes it look less like the original bike is better in my opinion in a Restomod. Used an XT front mech, so it's running 3x9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, see? Now as far as I remember, these shifters were XT. They could have been STXRC or XTR or anything, but I think they were XTs. XT. So XT 9-speed shifters. With the headset spacers I used anodized blue to go with the clashing on the red stem, and I chucked one carbon one in. I don't like to use more than one carbon headset spacer at a time. The cables on the bike are blue Jaguar, and they contrast pretty well with the red frame. The red frame's powder coated, by the way. This bike's definitely done a couple of 1,000 kilometres. You can still do pretty well on cross-country tracks to this day on the bike, even although it's 3x9, 26-inch wheels, all this other stuff that isn't cool these days. It's still a pretty fun bike to ride, and nobody can usually tell what it is. In fact, I've kind of spoiled the illusion a little bit by adding these stickers. Maybe I'll take them back off again, because nobody in the entire time I've had this bike has been able to guess exactly what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching, like and subscribe. I hope you like this cool bike.